Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next video lesson. We have a lot of information to cover. I know sometimes, well, in theory, the chapters should be the same length. This one, there's a lot. So take a deep breath, relax, and try to take one section at a time. Maybe you want to just look at listening and then take a break, and then the next day another one. There's a lot of information here. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or dispirited, depressed, because there's so much. Don't worry. Take one section at a time and enjoy everything that you learn. Let's look at an overview of what we are going to learn. The grammar is going to deal with the passive, and we're dealing with it in a very specific context: crime, criminal activity, illegal activity. Have something done. It is said that, he is thought to. And unsurprisingly, the vocabulary is dealing with crime and punishment. And they're taking the U from a lot of the words in crime and punishment, and they're going to practice the U, or the soft, mainly the soft U sound, but the U sound and what the letter U produces to help us with our pronunciation. All right, here's a very interesting and probably provocative statement. A society gets the criminals it deserves. Ooh. Is that true? Now, this is a Scottish crime writer. Do you like reading criminal fiction, crime fiction? Do you like these sorts of things, crime mysteries and these sorts of things? In the US, there are a lot of TV series devoted to crime and punishment. Very, very many. And I think it's because there's just so much crime in the US. It's very depressing in some ways. All right, the first part I'm not going to do, but I want to encourage all of you to listen to 8.1. Now, I know some of you don't get busy, you can't do the listening. This listening actually might save your life. Now, for some of you, you already know all of the ways you should be safe. But this police chief or Metropolitan Police podcast is going to go through 8 things you can do to be safer. And what's interesting, and I've gone through this, is I asked myself, which of these am I already doing? I know you're going to ask yourself the same thing. Which of these am I already doing? And which should I be doing? Which aren't? I'm not doing these. Should I be doing them? And honestly, I think we should be doing all of them. I think we should be more careful as people. And so I think this is a great exercise for personal safety and well-being. So try to listen to it. And then the exercise, of course, is to fill in the commands, what advice they say here. For example, here and here, maybe they suggest, I'm going to guess, as I recall, hide it or something. So you're going to use these verbs that are verbs of advice, these commands. So you want to follow these. And I think we're going to have a very interesting discussion on how careful and how safe you live your life. All right. Now, if we go above, you're going to listen again, and we're going to answer these questions. We might actually, I don't often, look at the listening, but this is so interesting and so important for all ages that I think it's worth going through. So we might answer some of these questions, and the audio is going to answer them. Here we have an opening one. Imagine you're alone in the street at night in an area that you don't know well. Would you feel nervous? I would feel nervous based on my past experiences. Some have not been very good. So I try never to put myself in a situation where I'm alone at night in an area that I'm unfamiliar with. It's happened a few times, and it can be very dangerous. So we'll talk about some of these things, and I'm really curious to hear about your experiences. Hopefully nothing too traumatic. Now, the vocabulary is going to be interesting. And we have something called beat the burglar. Beat the burglar. Now, let's go through this together. The answers, I think, are down below. Well, are they in an audio? I think they're down below. But let's answer them together. I don't actually remember the answers, so now it's fresh again. I'm going to read this for pronunciation. So repeat after me if you want, because we use some of these words that we're going to use a lot in the chapter. What's the most common time of day to be burgled? Burgled. Well, I'm guessing it's during the day. So either late morning or early afternoon. So it's probably A or B. What do you think? I think during the day when people are at work. Number 2, how long do you think a burglar normally takes to search someone's house? Well, that's not very long. Even 30 minutes isn't long, but I guess for the burglar, it seems like a long time. I'm guessing the sooner, the shorter, the better. So I'm going to guess it's either 10 or 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know, 10 or 20. I guess 10. 20 seems like a long time. For them, probably a lot. What 2 things influence a burglar to choose to break into a house? Now, this is very interesting. Is it because it's in an expensive area? Is it because no one's at home? Is it because there are trees and bushes around the house? I think this one might surprise you. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I do remember that having bushes and trees around the house make it really easy, a convenient place for burglars to hide. So if there are no bushes and trees, everyone can see you. So then it's more difficult, or it takes it's more daring to do something. And I think when they know no one's at home, I don't think burglars want to encounter the owner at home. Not many people want this encounter. It can be very dangerous for everyone and very unpleasant. I mean, stealing is unpleasant anyway, but to have someone in the house, I think, would be traumatic for both sides. What are the most common things that burglars steal? Now, let's go through these for pronunciation. Laptops and tablets. I don't think so. Paintings and antiques. Maybe, but size makes them out. I think size is the issue here. And finally, jewelry. Now, let's practice C. Jewelry. Jewelry. I'm going to guess it's jewelry because it's small and it's very expensive. So you can put them in your pocket and have thousands of dollars. Whereas the other ones, I think, are quite heavy and difficult to carry around. What's the best place in your house to hide your valuables? I don't remember this answer, but I'm guessing it's in a place that's not expected. So the children's room, or the kitchen. I don't know if I want my valuables in the kitchen, but I'm guessing it's not in the bedroom, because that's the obvious place people are going to look. What's most likely to prevent a burglary? Now, this is interesting. A dog or a burglar alarm. We call it a burglar alarm. Burglar alarm. What do you think? I think it's a dog. I think the answers are below, so you can check it. I'm not going to look because I don't want to know how many I missed. But very interesting, and I think very helpful. And we're going to look at the vocabulary related to crime and punishment. What I'm going to do is go through these and just reinforce practice some difficult words and tell you words that are either very common or not used much. So I find this interesting. Blackmail and blackmail are both, it's a verb and a noun. You don't see many of those on the list. You have rape and rape, but oftentimes it's different. But here you have it the same. Bribery is the only criminal activity that doesn't have a name for the person. He's not a briber. Briber doesn't work. It sounds like it should, because you have for a lot of these. Mugger, mug, mugger, bribe, briber. We just don't say it. He offered a bribe. He solicited a bribe. That's even a bigger word, solicit. Let me write that down. It's to sort of offer, but in a very sophisticated way. He solicited a bribe. That can be also very dangerous. These are all very common. Drug dealer is probably the most common of these three. Fraudster, not so common. Fraud, the noun, is the most common, I would guess. Hacking, hacked, hacker. I think all of these today are popular because we're now in the computer age. Hijacking, hijacker, hijack. All of these are used. Kidnapping, kidnapper. We don't use kidnappers so much, but we can. Kidnapped. Mugger, murderer, we use, unfortunately, too much, but we use it. Murder and murder, all of these, but murder is used. Rapist, very strong word in English. It's a very strong word. You've got to be sort of careful how you use that, I think. Stalker, this is a difficult word to pronounce. Stalker, stalker, stalker. Now, a stalker is someone who follows you or someone, and it can be quite threatening and dangerous. You can get a police, you can order, this is a big word here. If someone's stalking you and you call the police, you can get a restraining order on them. A restraining order means they can't come within 500 meters. They have to stay 500 meters or yards away from you, or they can go to jail. And depending on the country. Vandalism is when you destroy something. If you vandalize, so maybe the side of a house, you vandalize by painting on it, that's vandalism. So you ruin property, destroy things. Thief is common, and the others I think you can see. All right, well, this is a really interesting page. What happens to criminals? You're going to learn these and you're going to have all of these on the audio file here at the bottom. So I don't want to go through all of them with you, but I'll just say I would go through it. It's really important. And unfortunately, in all societies, we have people that cause problems, either out of desperation, maybe psychological issues, maybe just bad people in the world. So we need to know these words and phrases. Now that we've done that, you have pronunciation, and this is where the U comes in. Accuse, let's do them. You're going to practice them later. Drugs, this one, the first one's ooh, the second one, the third one, judge, the next one, jury, but I'm not sure. I think the British will be softer. Mugger, this is a soft one. Mugger. Punishment. Smuggling, very soft use here, except for one or two. All right, you can go through all of these. This is going to be a great small group exercise that I want to be a part of, just because these are great stories. We all like to read stories, watch mini series, TV series about these and movies about them. We don't want it happening to us, and we hope it never does, or to our children and our family. But nonetheless, it's quite interesting to hear stories about these. Now, when we go down to grammar, this is where it gets quite interesting, because when we talk about crime and punishment, we use the passive a lot. And so this is the best time to teach passive when you're talking about crime and punishment. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. She was robbed. We don't know who robbed her, so passive is perfect. She was robbed. We don't say he robbed her. I mean, we can, but oftentimes we don't know who did it. So we use the passive. It's very appropriate. And you have some practice here. You'll have answers below. Maybe we can do one of them together. When an attempted robbery at DIY store went wrong, that means wasn't successful. Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped over a fence to avoid being caught by the police, probably to avoid, he's not catching someone, he was avoiding being caught by the police. Unfortunately, he landed, so he did the action this time, so he landed in the grounds of a Cypress Cove nudist resorts and spa. Hodges was spotted by police easily. He had clothes on, so it seems natural that it'd be easy. And as he was the only person wearing clothes. Okay, you can do the other two, circle them, and you can go through the exercises here. I want to go down to the grammar bank because this is a full grammar bank. This is a full lesson right here. So I'm going to read these because then I want to talk about some of the rules. And you can see here how we express criminal activities in the passive. So the trial is being held at the moment. The trial is what happens in the courtroom. So if there's a legal case is brought by lawyers or barristers or attorneys to a courtroom, and there's where the trial is held. The trial is this dispute between two people. Jim was arrested last month. We don't know who arrested him, but it doesn't matter. We assume the police arrested Jim. So we don't need to say it because we know. So Jim was arrested by the police. That's pretty obvious. We saw that one of the windows had been broken. We don't know who broke the window because it was at night. One of the windows had been broken. Maybe the neighbors had broke the window. We don't know. People used to be imprisoned for stealing food. Used to be imprisoned. Again, passive. They were put in prison by someone else. He paid a fine to avoid being sent to jail. Someone is sending him. He is being sent. So let's just review the passive and what the point is here. So someone sends you to jail, sent him to jail. Let's do the past. But we assume it's the police. If we don't know, then we don't put it. So it's just easier to put it in the passive. He was sent to jail by the police. But we know, unless it's someone special that would surprise us, we don't need to say it. We understand it's the police. So he was sent to jail. So someone sent him because he is the subject, we have to make it passive. Someone, the police, sent him. So that's active. The police sent him. He was sent. All right. I think we know the passive, but it's good to review it sometimes. All right. You can read here to make the tense or form we usually use be plus past participles. Murderers, we've got it right here. Murderers are usually sentenced to life in prison. Although from country to country, it varies. In some countries, 25 years. In other countries, life. In other countries, the death penalty. Capital punishment is what we say. To mention, so here we have people think he was murdered by, the body was discovered by. So we use, to mention the person or thing that did the action, we use by. It's very common in these criminal sort of activities. You know, he was murdered by someone. And that's a very common way of expressing this in English. And you're going to have some practice with this. Let's look here now at number 8.9. I've just had my bank account hacked. We've had our passport stolen. Have you ever had your car vandalized? So this is the causative have. Have done something. Have something done. Excuse me, have something done. So let's take a look here at the rules for number 1. We usually use have something done to refer to something bad that is done to us. Remember, have is the main verb, so it changes according to the tenses. We use auxiliary verbs to make questions and negatives. You can see here, have you ever had? All right, did you have? Now, if we do number 2, The structure is also used to talk about something we arrange and usually pay for someone to do something. We've just had something installed. You ought to have your locks changed. We need to have the windows repaired. So we use this have done something to in these ways, and you'll practice them more. And then we have he has said that, he has thought to, and this is more formal. This is what you'll find in a press conference with a police chief who's interviewing and telling everyone what's taken place. Let's take a look at 8:10. They said that the fire was started deliberately. Watch, here's, it is said, this is a very common way to express this. It is said that the fire was started deliberately. We don't know who said it. Maybe it was the neighbor. They saw it from their house. So generally, when you're reporting, it is thought, it is said, so it is thought, it's the next one. It is thought that the mayor will resign. This is what we're hearing. We're hearing rumors. When you hear rumors, you can say, it is rumored that the mayor will resign. It is thought that the mayor will resign. All right. So we can use it is said, it is believed, that plus the clause. So it is said that, and here's the clause. It is thought that plus the clause. A clause has a noun here and a verb. Mayor will resign. Fire was started. So we have to have these components for a clause. And finally, number 2, we use he, the man, plus is said, believed, to. Oh, this is very complicated. I just, if you want to go through it, let's just read the sentences. People say the man is in his 40s. The man is said to be. Just, I might even memorize this. Or just, actually, you'll probably never use this because you're not a reporter at the crime scene. The man is said to be in his 40s. Or at an accident, the reporter will get on and say, the man is said to be in his 40s. He is believed to have left the country. This is something reporters say, so don't be worried about you having to use these. But understand how to use them. And we're going to go down. Finally, you've got some very interesting speaking questions. These are some interesting and I think controversial questions. Do you think it should be illegal to do the following things? We're going to talk about this in the live, but you can talk about it with a speaking partner, and it should be quite interesting conversation. You can let us know if you think they should be punished or not. Study hard, have a good lesson, and see you soon. Bye-bye.